Hello everybody, it's Karen here, and I'm getting ready to make my meatballs. Now I've already got all my ingredients put in. I have some breadcrumbs that I'm holding aside so that as I see how moist my meat is going to be, if it's too moist I'll add a little breadcrumbs. If it's not moist enough, if it's too moist I'll add breadcrumbs. If not, I'll leave them out and just put them back away. But I make my meatballs a little differently than most people. I actually use a 7-grain sprouted bread. Now this one is Food for Life, but normally I use Ezekiel. What I do is I soak pretty much 1 slice per pound of meat. So I've got like 5 slices in here. Again, because I'm concerned with the moisture, I'm only putting 5 slices to I'm putting 5 slices in instead of 6. So right now I'm making, this is about 5 pounds, almost a little more than 5 pounds of meat. Anyway, I've got my the bread in here. I've soaked it in water. I've drained it real good, and then I put it in my little machine where I can grind it up real good and make it a little more crummy instead of in whole chunks. So I did that with that, and I also do that with my onions because my daughter doesn't like to see onions. She doesn't like the texture. So I will go ahead and just really grind it up, and I put it in. So that brings a lot of moisture into the meat as well. So normally I would use, instead of breadcrumbs, I would use wheat germ, but I don't have any on hand right now, so I'm going to use the breadcrumbs instead. I've gone ahead and added my Italian seasoning. I've used the pepper, the salt. I've had my onions, my garlic, my bread, and I'm going to go ahead and mix it up, and then we'll come back when we're ready to put it on the tray. My oven is already on at 350. Because I'll make all the little balls and put them on a tray and stick them in the oven. Anyway, we'll come back when we have that done, and we'll carry on from there. Okay, so I've got my meatballs. I still have a little meat left over, which I'm going to ball up in just a little bit. But I've got my tray of meatballs. And as I was doing, I wanted to just show you. That's what you want on your hand as you're rolling them, because that'll tell you that your meatballs are as moist as you want them to be. If you don't have that sticking to your hand, then they're either too moist. If you have more than that, they're too dry. So you want to adjust your recipe, accordingly then. And you'll know that within the first couple of meatballs that you roll out. So I'm going to go ahead and pop these in the oven, come back and do those, and we'll wrap this on up. Okay, so I have my meatballs in the oven, and I wanted to just show you, I do use the Lucina, however you pronounce it. I may not be pronouncing it correctly. I use this olive oil. Now, it is an extra virgin, and typically I wouldn't use extra virgin for cooking because olive oil tends to heat up quickly. But I'm using it because I am going to be sauteing my onions and my garlic for my sauce to go with the meatballs, and I do that slowly. So I give it a chance. I don't overheat it. So that way it will be it's okay to use. Typically I only use the extra virgin for salads and regular olive oil for for cooking. But the one thing about this olive oil, it is the first cold pressed, which is what you want to use. I like the first cold press. Today with GMOs and olive oil and everything, you have to really, look at all of the ingredients in your olive oil. I happen to like this one. It's a little more pricey than some of the others, but the flavor is just outstanding. So the meatballs are in the oven. They are going to be cooking for a good hour, hour and a half at a 350 temperature until they're really nice and brown all the way on the outside. And then from there, I'll pop them into my sauce and let them continue cooking. Now tonight's sauce, I'm not using the wine as I did in my earlier sauce because that was just a a sauce without any meat, a little marinara sauce. Tonight we're going to have the meat sauce, so we don't want the wine in there too, because we're going to be really flavoring everything with the meat. So you guys enjoy.